guys. Welcome to Tarot in the Dark. Forgive my voice. It's probably going to go in and out tonight, guys. When I have all these cards out on the table, that means that I probably have been pushed to start a reading unexpectedly. Typically how it works, right? So I was just relaxing. I was out and about running some errands and was told to get in and do a reading. And guys, what I was hearing was something interesting. And you guys know I'm going to grab my phone and look this up. But I heard the Portal of Ecstasy. So like they were saying, here is the Portal of Ecstasy. Now what they were showing me was that the word ecstasy doesn't have to be created to, schmexual matters, right? We typically think ecstasy is like taking our minds and our energy and ourselves to another dimension, complete like oblivion to what's going on in the world around us. And they're saying that they were showing me that there are cycles in life, that cycles in life can be full of chaos and conflict. You can have storms in certain seasons, but then you can have, a season where everything is just working out in your favor. And then you can have a season where it's just time to rest, a period of peace and, tranquility and, observation, assessing the world around you, and then they're showing that you can have seasons where you're just busy nonstop. Like they were just showing me these different seasons and cycles and periods in life where things are different, energies are different, and they're saying that this is the portal of ecstasy. It's very interesting because they're bringing to my remembrance the fact that we have a full moon in Leo on the 1st of February. And I'm recording this on the 28th. Today's the 28th when I'm recording this. And so we're just a few days away from that full moon. And full moons tend to ignite and expand the energy. They tend to heighten the energy. So it's almost as if they're saying that there's a portal of happiness, of joy, of it's like intentional happiness, intentional joy. And it's 7:11 on the clock right now, guys. I think 7:11 is like a lucky, not a happy, but like a lucky number. Look up the angel number 711 if you're interested and find out what it means for you, but may have something to do with something. But again, they are just bringing me back to this energy of pure like bliss. And it's very, 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 very different from the energy that I think a lot of individuals have been sitting in over the last, I'd say, probably year or so is how it feels. So interesting, okay? The marrying card came out. I don't have the guidebook for this, guys, so I don't know what deck this is. I can't tell you. I also cannot give you the reading from the guidebook because I don't have it. Not right now, at least. But marrying, that's interesting. Now, it shows a couple here, right? But the energy that I'm picking up on it is a coming together. For some of you, absolutely, I can't even deny the energy showing, right? It could absolutely be a marrying of a union, a reconciliation, even for some of you. This could be a co-joining or coming together. Ecstasy is typically related to schmexual matter, so that does typically involve a partnership. So this could be the feeling of ecstasy. Let's look up ecstasy right now and look at the dictionary.com definition so we can get this out of the way so I'm not misspeaking. Okay, so ecstasy is rapturous delight. Wow, that's the first line, okay? I absolutely love that because rapturous it reminds me of like the rapture where everything is just taken over. That biblical rapture that we've all been taught about. It's like there's an overtaking of delight. Wow. An overpowering emotion of exaltation, a state of sudden, intense feeling. Oh my God. That's awesome. mental transport or rapture from the contemplation of divine things. Okay, I'm going to keep that in the back of my mind because I was seeing you like spiritual things when they were showing me the portal. It seemed like it was very much connected to like spiritual attunement is what's coming to mind. And then look, euphoria, elation, happiness, joy, and then they use the word rapture again in the thesaurus. So guys, there is absolutely like an overtaking of joy. There's an energy of almost like a wave of ecstasy that's coming over you. This is also showing up this marrying card just to show how things can be brought together cohesively. There's something about like allowing stories to be written the way that they were intended to. So what they're showing me with that is that for some of you, you may have felt like, or you may even feel like that in this moment, like your story has not turned out the way that you imagined that it would, right? And most of us, when you live long enough, you realize that that's for everybody. I think even people who are high school sweethearts and have what we may see as like an American dream romantic story, I think that even they would say that their lives didn't turn out the way that they anticipated and expected. And so it's almost like the stories that are being written, the storybooks of our lives, right? The writing of our, what will be at some point Akashic records, or, just the writing of our stories. Let's just keep it simple. I don't want to be going too crazy, but just the writing of our stories, guys, is cohesive. And they keep saying that. They're saying that although the story doesn't look the way that you thought it was going to, this is cohesive. This is cohesion, and they're talking about coherence too. That's interesting because coherence is actually connected to the heart chakra, which is Venus energy. That's very interesting that they're saying coherence. So the marrying of, so whether this is you and another person, whether this is you and the divine, you and your ancestor spirit, like reconnecting, reconciling, coming into union with your truest self, with the highest version of you, your higher self, like coming into full awareness of your not only your potential, but your aspirations, your dreams, your hopes, your desires. I feel like there's been a lot of assessing and analyzing as to where we want to be. So what's they're telling me out with the old, in with the new. So what's happened is, and they were speaking to me about this a little bit ago. It's very interesting because they were talking to me about this, and after they showed me the ecstasy, they were showing me how like the shift. So remember, like I posted a reading, I don't know, maybe a week or so ago, maybe, and it was titled like the shift has occurred. Like, can you feel it, or something like that? They were saying that oftentimes when we are connected, we feel the shifts happen prior to, and they're saying that, like, they're showing me like a 10-day grace period, like there could be a 10-day grace period. So for those who felt that shift back then, they're saying that shift was a push, almost like an expedited push to get you from the old into where you're at currently, which is the new. So they were showing that the cohesion is that old has been dissipated. So a lot of you may have felt like over the last like couple of weeks, even like intense energies of releasing old things. You may have felt like you've had to like buckle down and really like, pull teeth to get some of these energies that have been settling in almost. It's almost like the energy of something that, like, imagine oil in a bucket of water, right? It's almost like the oil is trying to settle in. The oil is the old energy that your team is trying to get you to release. And it's like dropping, so droplets. You know how the oil will create like droplets in the water? They're showing that. So it's almost like that old trying to kind of stay with the new, which is the water. We all know that oil and water don't mix. And so the cohesion is the fact that that old is now settled at the top, like the grease has settled, and you can now scoop it up. So your team's kind of been assisting and supporting you in scooping out the old, but there's something about cohesion for us as humans when we see things through our lens that doesn't feel right. And I'm kind of having this conversation with them on the back end, telling them like, well, when you say cohesion to me is like a meshing or a mending. They're telling me to look up the definition. Cohesion to me is like compliance, like I fully understand this, right? But they're saying that there's something that I'm missing in the word cohesion, because they're saying that cohesion has a lot to do with, oh, okay, right here. Let me read this. So cohesion, the act or state of cohering, uniting, or sticking together. That's what they're talking about. So they're saying that the process of cohesion with that oil and water, they're trying to create separation between the old, which is the oil, the water, which is the new. And that old that wants to trickle into the water, they have been creating. That's why the shift feels like it's happening in sections, because this is the process of cohesion to bring you to the place to where you can unite with that which you're supposed to, right? So this could be, again, a person, it could be a situation, a job, it could be you coming into your fullest, highest, best version of yourself, creating an identity that is cohesive with your future. There's a lot of like purging of like old energies, like removing. They keep showing me to like sweeping away and scraping off that oil. Like if you let oil sit overnight, that's been, say for example, you're making like beef stock. You have all this fat that rises to the top. Typically, you'll leave that pot of beef stock to sit in the cold overnight, or you put it in the refrigerator overnight so that you can easily just scrape off the fat. Because if you're making pho or something like that, you want your broth to be pure. And so that's kind of how they're showing this, is like that this over the last few weeks, there's been a process of creating cohesion by purging and separating the old oil from the new water, which is fresh, which is pure. And that requires attention, and they're saying assistance. They're saying for those of you who've been trying to do this on your own, it hasn't been working, and it hasn't been working because you're resisting the process. Okay, look at this transformation. This is so powerful, guys. These cards are so powerful. These are like the magic forest or something like that. I love this deck. But the big picture came out, and so this is almost like you guys, there's something super spiritual about this reading, and it's beyond my comprehension, if I can just be honest with you guys. I keep seeing things, I don't know exactly what they are, but this is the expansiveness that our team's pushing us into. Okay, as we move into, the year of the horse and with the age of Aquarius, we are going to have to be bigger thinkers. Our perspectives are shifting, and with Neptune having left, if I can get my words out, Neptune having left Pisces and now has entered into Aries, I think, especially for me as a Pisces, I think things for us as a whole are going to become a lot clearer. So I think there may have been spiritual things that, while in the Piscean energy, although Neptune is safest and happiest in Piscean energy, that's his home, right? I think that there's a lot of spiritual things that we may have misunderstood in the past. I think there's also a lot of concepts, a lot of ideas, a lot of thoughts in regards to healing, manifesting, being our truest selves, like really acting and operating as abundance. I think there's been a lot of confusion, delusions, illusions that are going to begin to be cleared up, and this feels like this is like the beginning of this, because it's bigger than us. And there was a reading that they did the other day. I posted it, something about being a spiritual leader, and they're kind of showing that energy again here with this big picture. There's a marrying of you and another person, you and a job, you and something else, fill in the blank, okay? And that marrying is happening, the merging is happening, this cohesion is being brought together with coherence, which is the heart chakra. This is the opening, your powerhouse. The source of who you are is your heart. So there's an opening of that to allow the bigger picture to bleed through, to allow you to be able to see your purpose, to allow you to be able to see why you were created. For a lot of you, you've been asking, like, why am I here? Why am I here? Why have I gone through all of this? Like, maybe why am I even watching Tarot in the Dark right now? You know, like, why is this happening? And it's because you were created for something bigger than where you were. You were created for more. And they're almost like mapping this out for you right now by showing you these experiences and these opportunities that are in front of you. Now, there's something coming through in this energy about meant. I don't know exactly what meant means, like from a spiritual perspective, but meant, it takes over whatever you put it in, right? So if you put mint in like water, the water is going to taste like mint. If you put mint in the refrigerator drawer, whatever's next to it, it's going to taste like mint. So there's something coming through in regards to the fragrance of who you are, the nature of who you are, the scent of you. It's almost like your team is trying to call you to see things from a bigger picture, higher perspective, and create this cohesion, bring together this experience of marrying in order for the truest nature of you to shine through. And it'll shine through so potent that you won't be able to resist or deny why you were put here. You won't be able to resist or to deny the big picture. You won't be able to turn a blind eye to the powers and the authority that you have. Because I'm picking up on something about shying away, being afraid of this massive growth, this massive change, this massive transformation, almost like enjoying the pauses and the halting rather than embracing the shift. So it's like the shift had to take place in sections because spiritually it's too heavy for your physical human body to experience such a shift. For a lot of you, you could have been extremely tired the past week or so, like exhausted and not knowing why. Like, why am I tired? What's going on? Like, is something, am I missing something? And this is because this is a massive transformation. Wow, look at the rest card underneath this. And then I'm sure you guys saw that. Divine love is underneath that. Wow. But this rest card, look at this energy of the heart chakra that's just exuding through this entire card. For a lot of you, this transformation of you has happened in the dark. Like you've literally been by yourself, just kind of sorting through, picking through the weeds. You know, like I'm seeing this card, it's called the Wall of Thorns, and it's almost like you've been climbing through that to get you to this place. But remember, this reading is about the ecstasy that's coming. Okay, it's about the portal of ecstasy, the peace, look, inspiration, the gifts of you that are coming to light. And this marrying of whatever, like I said, whether it's you and someone else, you and a job, whatever the marrying is for you individually, this is purposeful. And it's purposeful for something greater than just you, just being a human sent here to do whatever it is that you're doing in your day-to-day work, right? This is bigger than you. This has something to do with your calling, your gifts, your abundance. For someone or someone's, okay, this is coming through very, very loudly right now. You probably hear that. My stomach is growling like crazy. I'm not hungry at all. It's not growling, it's making noise. It's my solar plexus going crazy right now. For someone, you have not believed that you are capable of doing the things that you feel called to do. So for someone, you know what your gifts are, but you have minimized and shrunk yourself. You have allowed experiences, life experiences, which no fault of your own, okay? This happens. However, the shift is pushing you into acceptance. There's something very unique, set apart, admirable. I'm hearing honorable. There's something about you that is extremely respectful, noble of character, is what they're saying. This is something that you should not shy away from. That's why this bashful card came out, guys, with the possum and the peony. The possum here is representative of playing dead, right? Possums play dead whenever they're afraid, whenever they're scared, when they think someone's coming for them, they think there's a dog, anything coming to attack them, they're going to play dead. For some of you, you've been playing dead metaphorically to hide and shy away from your gifts. It's almost like spirit is going to bring someone to you. This could be whoever this marrying is with, right? Like they're going to bring them to you to help you see your true light. Like, look at how this is being shown. So this gentleman here, he seems very like calm, meek, kind of timid, and she seems more calm, meek, and timid, but like she's got this glow around her. She's like got this sparkling energy around her. It's even on her dress here. There's something very vibrant about her, whereas he kind of just blends in. And so for a lot of you, you've been just blending in, and I think it's been safer to blend in because you have this bashful energy here. But the possum is only playing dead when he's afraid. And so it's almost like your team is saying, what are you afraid of? What are you afraid of? And what are you putting out? See, that shift, the oil from the past is operating in the energy of fear, shying away, playing dead, rather than stepping out and being seen. And that energy, that frequency, the vibration of that is what's being felt by the universe. That's what's being felt. And so your team is asking you to shift that energy, to shift that perspective. They're bringing me to this card, this word magic card. Wow, guys, I can't make this up. And then look at this seed card underneath here, because this is exactly what I was getting ready to go to, is that they're showing me that what you speak, what you say, how you feel energetically, you are vibrationally pushing that energy out. You're planting those seeds is what they're saying. So those are the seeds that you're planting. So it's almost like you're being asked to evaluate and assess the energy that you naturally just kind of sit in. What words are you speaking? Because words are magic, guys. You know what's so interesting? I'm going to tell you guys a story. I was just yesterday telling my man that I wrote something in a notebook. In one of my journals, January 18th of 2025, I wrote a letter just to myself. And I was just expressing how terrified I was, how, like, I even titled it, I am scared. How I was terrified. I was terrified that I was going to leave, a relationship, and that I would just be like completely like just jacked up. Like I would be by myself. I would never find love. I would never, ever, ever find anyone who truly could love me wholeheartedly and, desire to protect the innocence in me rather than take advantage of that innocence within me. I was writing about that, and I told him, I was like, this is so crazy, because that's one of the things that he told me when we started talking, was that, he felt like God sent him to protect me. And it was because he says, your innocence, your naivety is actually a gift. And it's because that's how you operate in your gifts. You have to be imaginative. You have to be playful. I have to be delusional, right? Pisces. I have to be delusional in order for me to be able to believe and see things through a spiritual lens. But in previous relationships, I've been taken advantage of. Like, oh, she's stupid. She doesn't really get it. And it's like, no, I just let you play. I just play dumb and let you think I'm stupid until I X you out of my life. It's just the way that I work, because I'm not going to push to make you think that I'm something different. I'm also not going to be anything but myself. But anyways, I was writing that letter and I was reading it to him, and I was like, a year later, looking back, that is crazy that I actually have everything that I wrote down. And he's like, yeah, because words are powerful. And we all hear that, we know that, we sense that, but we forget that when we're dealing with ourselves, right? It's easy to say, oh no, to Jim, Bob, and Joe. We can tell them, don't say that about yourselves. You're amazing, you're fantastic. But then when we're referring to ourselves, we forget that. And there's these two eyes in my little sand thing. I never know what to call this. Let me just show you guys. And they're staring at me. Can you guys see these two little holes right there? There's one there and one there. Let me lay it down here and see if that helps. You see 1, 2? It's interesting because it's almost like these are your team watching. They're like, we're watching you. And we're paying attention to every seed that you plant with the words. Sorry, guys, I know I hit the mic. With the words that you speak, with the frequency, the energy. Like I just hit the sand thing on the mic, and now all of a sudden it's just pouring out sand. So that's essentially what's happening with you, is that the words that you speak, the things that you write down, your fears, your joys, your wishes, your hopes, your, everything that you're just terrified of, those things get kind of weighed and they get placed based on, what you're putting out. It's almost like the scent of the mint, right? Like how ment's so potent. It's like that's the same thing with the words that you speak. It becomes your frequency. And so they're trying to shift you out of an old frequency into the new. And that's going to require that you see things from a different perspective, a higher perspective. It's almost like a recognition. Once you recognize that your frequency is a vibration, and also that your frequency can actually heal you. There's a frequency within you that has healing powers, healing capabilities. But for most of you, you've been rejecting or denying that for several reasons. For some, it's because you've been taught that there's no way you could have that power. For others, it's because you just don't believe that you have the ability to be consistent in playing the tune. So they're showing like her, imagine she's playing a harp. I don't know if that's a harp, but it's like, if I play this tune, nothing changes. And because we're expecting things to change right away, we think, oh, well, it's not working. But they're saying that just as she can play this harp consistently and the tune can be, perfect, whatever the tune is, whatever the key is, it can be consistently correct. So can you consistently, correctly keep yourself aligned to the frequency of what you wish. Joy, right? Hope, desire. You can plant seeds that will produce what you desire, because look at this here. This is the adventure card. Laughter, spontaneous, nature, and renewal. If you're loyal to yourself and committed to planting seeds that will grow based on the big picture, it's almost like a shift in perspective based on the big picture. Instead of thinking about the now and how you feel right now, your frequency should align with the big picture. Wow, I never even thought about that. That's what they're saying. As you shift and align with the frequency of where you're going, that's how you can become coherent. Wow. Coherence, remember guys, is the frequency of the heart chakra. It's how you manifest from the heart chakra as well, through the frequency of coherence. Being fully aware and attuned. I love the word attuned because attuned is alignment, basically. It's being aligned. You become one with that thing. So it's almost like attune yourselves to the frequency of where you want to be in the big picture. And that's how you shift. So it's like some of you could be feeling like you've gotten rid of the oil, like the oil is sitting at the top of the bowl waiting to be scraped off. But you could feel like you don't have the tools or the resources to be able to scrape the oil off the top of the pot or the bowl. And that's because you feel like every time I push forward and trying to be positive in my thinking, which is a shifting of the frequency, you're afraid. It's like there's something in there that's fear, because they're showing me this bashfulness card. Again, there's something in there that's connected to fear that almost pulls you back, and then it's almost like the oil turns, it's like turning on a pot, and now the oil is getting warmed up again. So it's no longer solidified, which it could actually be swiped off once it's solidified. Instead, it stays in a state of, or reverts back to a state of being soft or liquefied, I guess I should say, right? And then now you're mixing it with the water. Okay, this is very interesting, guys, but that's how they're showing it. And I think it's connected to the fact that you're just not sure that things can actually work out for you, and it's because things haven't been working out in the past. You're hopeful. You're hopeful that this marrying, this reconciliation, this connection will come together. You're hopeful that that job, that promotion, and that money will come together. But they're showing and saying this very clearly, that you have to become that which you desire. And that's a part of coherence. A part of coherence is aligning and coming together with the desires of your heart. So if you can't actually see yourselves marrying with whatever that blank is that you desire, I just wonder how to get you there. That's what I'm thinking about, guys, is how to help you get there. We're taking this one. How to help you get there. Okay. Well, we have the Peace card at the bottom of the deck. This is showing me like the High Priestess energy. Bridget, Goddess, in your sacred name, a light within me, peace is flame. For some of you, I think you really just need rest. I think you're exhausted. I think you may be a little restless at this point because things haven't necessarily started coming in yet. But with this creativity energy coming out here, by all above and all below, let me connect, let creativity flow. I think that for a lot of you, in order to access or shift and change your frequency, I think it's going to require that you tap into something that is more fun. That's why I think the creativity card is coming out. It's almost like they're saying, do something outside of the box. Okay, if you typically stay in the house, I know it's cold in the United States, in a lot of states. If it's cold, do something in the house creative. Cook. Okay, whenever honestly, like a lot of times I'll do readings and I go and I cook something. Okay, if you have children, nieces, nephews, cousins, grandchildren, go find a child to play with and just play with a child, Barbie, something like that. Like, do something that you would do as a child. Also painting, coloring, puzzles. I do a lot of puzzles, guys. Like anything that you can do. One of my favorite things to do though is to cook. I love cooking because when I go in the kitchen, I totally forget about anything else and I can create. I can take nothing and turn it into something. You may want to even buy some of those science projects on Amazon, or look things up that you can do on Pinterest for free. Tap into the creative side of you that has been untouched, okay? Because that's going to allow you to play. It's going to allow you to open up to new opportunities and experiences. It's also going to allow you to get out of the fear and focus of like when is, what is, because I think a lot of you are super intuitive, and I think you feel and sense this, but there's some disconnect in how to actually get you from point A to point B. You know, it feels like, okay, I'm sitting at A1 or A2, and I need to get to A10 to get to B. You know, so it's like how to get there. I'm always thinking of ways too, guys, like how can I help? I'm always thinking of ways to help myself. And in the process, it's just that I'm taking you guys into consideration, because I'm like, well, if I can figure this out, then I can help them, right? And I think most of the time from my experiences, I hear a lot of tarot readers, no shade to anybody else, but I hear a lot of tarot readers. I also hear a lot of people who are healers in general, not just tarot readers, but healers in general tend to not be able to provide people with actual like practical ways of doing stuff. So I'm always, and this is why I think I share a lot of my stories, because I want to give you, you know, relatable content and information that's actually going to be helpful. Like I'm always praying and asking my guides to like help make it make sense. Sometimes it probably doesn't, but I want it to make sense. I don't want it to be something that's not beneficial to you guys, because I'm hearing someone say like, how do I get there? How do I get there? So let's see. All right, we're stopping. So let's stop here. I'm not gonna turn these cards over yet. I want to talk about the thread first, okay? And I will read the guidebook on both of these cards, but I want to talk about the thread. This one I'm not too familiar with, but the thread, guys, this is showing up to show how close you are to the rainbow. You know, that rainbow represents euphoria, you know, ecstasy, the portal that's the pathway. This is like the pathway to ecstasy, right? So this portal that is being presented to you, the marrying of your blessings, your gifts, the things that you desire, you're so close. You're at the finish line. Look at this. It's like you just have a little ways to go. If only you could see through the dark to see that that rainbow is on the other side of this fog. But it's interesting too, because I'm seeing fear even in the way that this individual is holding on to the red thread, right? It's like there's a sense of, I'm holding it, but that's not really how someone would be holding on for dear life. You would have a tighter grip and your elbow would not be bent in that direction if you're holding on for dear life, from what I think. And so I think there's something here in regards to maybe desiring it loosely. So if you desire something loosely, they're saying you may not really be desiring it. It's almost like they're showing it as this, guys. You know how when we're married, we don't want to be married. When we're not married, we want to be married. It's that type of thing, right? And if you've ever been married and not married, you totally get those statements, right? You're like, yeah, that's totally the truth. So they're showing this as like, do you really want this? And how, if you do, how much are you willing to shift your frequency to align and attune to it? Wow, that's deep. This Alethea card is showing me, just intuitively, I'm picking up on this as the High Priestess energy, as well as one of those other cards was giving me that vibes too, the Peace card, I think. But it's showing up as like the High Priestess energy of like having some type of knowledge and wisdom, spiritual insight in regards to like ebbs and flows, right? Like being fully aware of highs and lows. But there's something in here that's like creating confusion in the background. It's almost like your team asking to like see through the illusions. That's what I'm picking up on this card. Because again, it's given the High Priestess vibes, but it's like, can you see through the illusions to get to the prize? I don't know if that card means that, but that's what I'm picking up on. And then tarot cards that are here is the Sun, the Four of Pentacles, the Eight of Swords, the Magician, and the Lovers. Guys, this is absolutely confirmation. There's fears. The Four of Pentacles and the Eight of Swords are fears. There's fears surrounding... Oh, I should cover them. Shoot. There's fears surrounding the manifestations. For some of you, this fear, if this is a love partnership or a connection, this Lover's card can mean the same thing, that things that were brought up in the marrying. It does not have to specify that this is a love relationship. The Lover's card can be, again, union with yourself, union with the divine. It could be union with someone else. And it can also be union with the things that your soul desires, that you truly desire. So again, that's that fill in the blank. It doesn't have to be love, guys. The Lovers doesn't necessarily mean that. But this Four of Pentacles and the Eight of Swords is like you want to experience the happiness. But something too with this Six of Cups energy is definitely showing up as something from your past has created fear around stability. It's like a scarcity mindset that's being brought up right now, guys. I'm hearing that clearly. The fear of rejection, fear of... It's almost like it's weirdly showing up as like an intimidation of the security that you could feel in this new. That's very interesting. It's almost like if I shift and I become a brand new individual, am I going to get hurt? Am I going to be wounded? Am I going to be stuck in the mud? Am I going to be trapped? Is there going to be deception? Is there going to be lies, manipulation? Right? It's like all this beautiful energy. These are all major arcanas. And then you have these two cards of resistance and fear. The Four of Pentacles is like a resistant, controlling energy, but it's only because of fear. See, how I interpret the Four of Pentacles is like in the Three of Pentacles, you're working with people. You're willing to be a team player. You're able to, commit and submit and give your part. You're playing your role. You're doing fantastic. And then all of a sudden, something happens and that situation breaks. And when that Three of Pentacles breaks, now I've entered into the Four of Pentacles where I feel like I have to take care of me, myself, and I, because I haven't been able to trust partners, other people in the past. This could be business, this could be love, this could be family. I haven't been able to trust individuals in the past because they've failed me. And when they've failed me, they've almost left me imprisoned, right? Like the errors of them, the errors of even yourself have left you trapped and imprisoned in your mind, feeling like you're unable to move beyond and release the control. There's something about releasing and relinquishing control, and it has to do with your actions. So they're saying, first and foremost, they want you to relax, find peace, do something that is creative. For some of you, this has been affecting your sleep. They're showing me that. Find something creative to do. Laugh, play, have fun. Try not to focus so much on this that is coming for you. It is coming. The Sun is here. The Magician, the Lovers. The Sun is representative of that full moon that we have on the 1st, guys. So anticipate a shift. Give it a 10-day grace period, okay? But anticipate a shift. But also there's something here about words, because this is coming up in the Magician too. Words, communication, actions, thoughts, deeds. Are you going to allow yourself to stay trapped by the past and miss out on the opportunities of the future? Again, their instructions and advice are to stay focused on the big picture and to align your energy with where you want to be. So for example, if you don't want to operate from a space of fear or control, then when you feel those things rising up, change your tune. Okay, they're even saying that music can be significant in helping with this. They're saying turn on a song, do something to shift yourself out of that frequency. And they're saying that the other recommendation is to be creative. Because remember, you're shifting whether you want to or not from that old into the new. The water and the oil are already separated. The challenge is that you haven't been able to scrape off the top. You haven't been able to scrape off the top. Look, I'm getting messages about my niece talking, guys. This is talking, you talking. How are you talking to yourself? How are you going to talk yourself out of this haze? How are you going to talk yourself out of scraping that oil off the top? How are you going to talk yourself? How are you going to encourage yourself, motivate and inspire yourself? How are you going to take action with the Magician? You hear the noise there. Somebody started their truck, in the parking lot here. And it's like, it's loud. So it's almost like Spirit wants you to just get loud. Stop shying away from this, because the bigger picture is that you have the authority, the ability, the energy to shift this. And this is what's going to heal you, is you being able to speak to yourself in those moments when you feel this energy. Again, shifting it, like they said, just a song, putting on a song, going in the kitchen and cooking, doing something that is just gonna shift you right out of it. Go for a walk. You may have to call this person for some of you, but there's something about allowing yourself to fall into that energy rather than to resist it. And that's how you can get the tools to be able to scrape that oil off. Because they're saying that your energy, your frequency will just rid the oil. It's almost like a natural, like paper towel or a strainer where you can just easily glide over the top and get rid of it. But it's the frequency of you. And what do you believe in? What do you think you're capable of? Because this is what they're showing here, is that you have the key. You have the key to change. This is a 5 card. And your mentee energy, the potency of your energy is stronger than you realize. They're showing it like mint so potent, you are the mint. So whatever you push out energetically, whatever your vibration is, that's exactly what's going to take over. It's you. This is so awesome, guys. This is almost like the key to abundance, to being abundance, because abundance is you. Your frequency is abundance. But it's so hard to grasp that concept, but that is you, abundance. Vibrancy, joy, energetic, healing, powerful, able to flow. You do these things all the time, but you don't give yourself credit for them. You just do it and you're like, no, you're like, I'm scared. Oh no, I don't want to be seen. I don't want to be heard. I'm not worthy. Yes, you are. You absolutely are. That's why you're here. Because you're worthy. This energy at the bottom of the deck here, guys, is the Queen, which is the Empress. This is the energy that you possess. Naturally, you have this. I use the word possess because it's so powerful. It's strong. It's like that mint. This is who you are. the queen. It doesn't matter if you're masculine or feminine. This reading is about learning how to receive, how to open yourself up to receive. And the receiving starts with you. As you attune your energy to the frequency of the big picture you, the highest version of you, the future self of you, you will recognize how easily things start to come towards you. So, you know how when you're like in a pissy mood, you're just irritated. We all have these times, guys, where you're like just ticked off, angry, irritated with the world because everything is just going south for you. You know how you go out, you go to the grocery store, you could go wherever you're going, the gas station, work. You just notice how people are just even like more irritating to you. It's because that's the frequency that you're operating from. You're pushing out that energy. So just like the mint, they can't miss you. And so what you do is almost like essentially become like a magnet to that energy where you're just drawing it into you. You're going about your day and then here comes this magnet. It's like, zzz, like it's attached to you or so drawn to you. And it's because that's the frequency that you're putting out. But on the contrary, if you're vibing high, you're full of joy, you're just grateful, thankful, attuned to the bigger picture, like, oh, I know I used to be attitudey, rude, mean, whatever. I'm not that anymore. I'm so thankful that this marrying is coming together. I thank you that my divine counterpart is coming in. I thank you that I have more than enough money. I thank you that I lack nothing. I thank you that I'm full of joy and hope and inspiration. I thank you that I see myself. I thank you that others see me, that those who are supposed to be a part of my tribe, they are naturally drawn to me like a magnet. I thank you that everywhere I go, there are creativity, inspiration, there's peace, there's joy, there's laughter, there's synchronicities, there's signs, wonders, and miracles no matter where I go. You notice you push that energy out, and then you notice all of a sudden, everybody's nice to you in the store. You're like, God, wow, she's so nice. It's because you're putting that energy out. So it's the same thing here. If you want to draw something in, just be that energy. You want love to come in? Be love. Fill yourself with love. Guys, when I first became single, I bought myself a bunch of robes and I would just la 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 with myself. And you have to do those things. Take care of yourself. Fill yourself up. And yes, it's hard. It's not easy, especially when you're used to relying on somebody else to do it and then never getting anything, which that's your fault, but we'll talk about that another day. Anyways, so, so it's like, it's hard to do. It's hard to consistently stay in the frequency of love and peace and joy. It's hard to get out of the fears of what if everything goes wrong. It's hard. It's very hard. But when you align yourself and attune yourself to these energies, the sun and the lovers, understanding how supported you are, how you're never alone, and how you have the energy and the ability to shift everything around you just by the frequency of what you put out, it'll change your whole life. It'll change your whole life. So the portal to ecstasy has been opened. You've been granted access, is what they're saying. It's just a matter of what you do when you open the door. Remember, you have the key. I'm going to read this book in a second. You have the key. This portal has been opened with the key that you have used. But what are you going to do? Are you going to walk in? Are you going to believe that your frequency aligns with it? Or are you going to shy away because what if you do something wrong? Or what if someone wrongs you? Okay, guys, let's see what we can find. And then we will close the reading out. If you're still here, drop a comment. Or like a heart emoji. Whatever color you like. Alright, guys. I don't know why I always have a hard time finding stuff in this book. Whichever one comes first. Okay, so let's do the Alethea. Wow, this is truth. That's what this represents. Wow. So that's why they were saying see through like the chaos and the fog. Okay. I'm going to hold this up. If you want to take a picture, feel free to. Alethea, truth. Our soul recognizes the truth when someone speaks it. A cool wave of relief washes over the room, and all the facts and figures in the world fall by the wayside. Such is the power of Alethea. It has an undeniable resonance that goes beyond the rational. We can also recognize Alethea by its contagiousness. When we hear someone speak the truth, we see the truth within ourselves and are more likely to tell our own story. The Alethea card requires us to step toward an act of truth. This might look like a conversation, a gesture, a poetic act, or a ritual that honors the unveiling of what's been concealed. Reclaiming your own truth is a way to reclaim your vital energy, health, and sense of belonging in the world. Truth has its own wings. Set it free. When in light, it's clarity, revelation, and disclosure. When dark, distortions, gaslighting, and excuses. Wow. And to go deeper, look at the goddesses Ma'at and Veritas. You guys know I talk about Ma'at a lot because I resonate with the Ma'at energy. Wow, that is that's phenomenal, guys. I'm sorry. This Alethea card is phenomenal. There's absolutely truth in this reading. Okay, let's read the thread. The thread. Okay, this is that red thread there. The path, the vein, the circuit. Life is a tangle. So much happens simultaneously, and this word I hate, circuitously. It always reminds me of charcuterie board or charcuterie, however you say it, guys. I always hear people pronounce it differently. Anyways, this word reminds me of that, okay? Life is a tangle. So much happens simultaneously and circuitously, leaving us grappling for meaning and direction in a network of distractions. When we connect to the energy of the thread, however, we strike the deepest vein in the body. Our whole being responds to its tug. Meaning is pumped through our bloodstream. Our mind and spirits are lifted. We remember who we are and what we came into this world to do. Though this happens on the most profound level, it could be the simplest incident that activates the thread. A song, an image, a conversation heard in passing. No matter how confusing and multi-layered our modern lives become, if we are connected to the thread, we are free. Being tethered to it is the only anchor our heart requires. Wow, powerful, powerful. When light, the circuit of meaning within chaos. And when dark, binding, frustrating, and taut. Guys, this is your reading. I hope it resonates. Feel free to drop a comment. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you don't mind. I appreciate each and every one of you. Just remember who you are. I think that was in a recent reading. Maybe go watch Lion King to be creative, guys. That'll be a good reminder of who you are, how powerful you are. And if you can watch the play, there's a song, and I don't know exactly what it's titled, but it talks about they're watching over us. Okay, you can watch the NPR Lion King. I think they sung it on that NPR concert. Anyways, guys, just whatever you need to do to remind yourself of the powerhouse that you are, do that. That is going to assist and support you in bringing and marrying yourselves with that which you desire and filling in that blank, okay? Also, your ancestors are here to remind you. They are a great reminder of who you are, the strength, the tenacity, the power that they had, that they have gifted unto you, is something that should not be taken for granted, but also not taken lightly, okay? You're going to become their recompense, meaning the reward that they were unable to get through the hell that they went through. Be that proudly and wear that with honor. Okay, guys, I'm grateful for you. I hope this resonates. Have an amazing night. Look, you see this, the starborn, right? I can't make this up. You see this? That's what you are. Have a great night, my dears. I'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching. Bye.